there.
She did some crazy
She did. She did gauze,
different
textures,
Put two shots together.
I think you might want
Fiber paper looks good.
Gloria don't
Oh,
play.
wow.
This is the bar right here at the back. Done?
What is this? Oh, she put some gauze on.
Gauze.
Lay them down if there's more, just lay them on the table.
Oh,
Okay.
right, okay. There you go. Yep.
Wow. Well, I guess we saved the best for last.
There's nothing baking here.
So this paper is fiber paper.
We started hating her, I
It's
know,
called
right?
Ilford art paper, and it's on Hahnemühle watercolor paper. So it's basically on the same base that's really popular for digital printing. They took this emulsion, and this paper just came out. So there's actually a new product for traditional printing. Brought on by the popularity of Hahnemühle papers.
What do you think she did here?
Expensive.
She painted it?
I can actually
Developer on it.
That's really cool.
Want me to go through some of these real quick?
Yeah.
So Steve can tell
So
us.
for this shot, her camera's on a tripod, and it's basically, these are clouds. Probably looks like it's about maybe a 10-second exposure at night, and the city lights are bouncing off the clouds and coming back down, and the clouds are just moving. So the camera's on a tripod and the clouds are moving. And this is just shooting from the inside of the Disney Concert Hall out towards City Hall. And that's outside at night. She just picked up that word in the background to kind of pick up the feeling of the Disney Concert Hall. That's right in the middle of the day, which is awesome for the assignment because it's radically different. It's radically different than any take I've ever seen on the Disney Concert Hall. And it works for the assignment. And then the next shot is actually a shot similar to this with the clouds streaking through the frame. And she exposed the print, put it in a dry tray, took a 2-inch brush, dipped it in the developer, wiped some excess developer off of it, and just brushed the paper. She brushed dry paper with developer.
Whoa.
How long did she leave that on?
Yeah, she wishes she had, after it started to develop, she wished she had gone more right in that right-hand corner.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once the whole image was set, it would have stopped developing eventually. She could have just gone in the corner, and as soon as it started to appear, she could have put it in the stop path.
Oh.
And then the next shot she didn't like, but it's diffused and it's backlit and it's it's the guts of the building rather than the skin of the building. So for the assignment, it's the opposite of everything else. And for the next shot, it's nighttime again, but she has motion in it. She put her camera on a tripod and she jumped out in front of the camera and walked back towards the camera.
Wow.
So that's her. So that motion makes it different. And then for that shot laying down, which I think you should stand up so people can see it, she laid gauze on top of the paper for half the exposure, so it ghosted.
It ghosted, yeah. Looks like
And
a
then,
painting.
oh, I'm sorry.
Looks like a painting.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a painting. It starts to look pictorial.
Yeah.
And then this shot, she wanted to, I can't remember, she was trying to do something and she ran out of time on the very last night. It was too crowded.
Aww.
So I said, just throw your print back in the developer. She was doing something funky, which was reversible, so it wasn't working, so she just threw her print in the developer and made a straight print out of it, which I think is also really beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great print. It has a lot of texture.
Just subtle texture in the sky, subtle texture in the building, and just a splash of light. So I think it still works, but it's not radically different the way she wanted it to be. But she started playing in the darkroom, and that's a thing not too many people did. She had time, she was already done, so her last day, she just played with stuff.
So on that gauze, is that special gauze?
No, she just found some gauze.
And then how did she tape it on? Like, how did she glue it?
No, she put the paper in the easel, just laid the gauze, pushed the button, halfway through the exposure, just picked up the gauze.
I see. I thought for some reason it was like on the paper.
was, no,
Like it's glued on the paper.
no.
No, it's on top.
She just set it there. I mean, she could've just moved it throughout the exposure. I don't know what would happen, but there's a million things you could do. But it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, I think this is fiber paper.
The painting is beautiful, this one is
I
beautiful.
like the painting too.
It really is.
I love this one.
There's a, I
You
mean,
can't say it's a picture.
there's
It's
a
great.
there's a million things you can do with this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion, you could shoot motion and then brush it into sharpness. Like shoot something moving, streaking against the background, and just put one brush stroke right across the subject. Let everything else just disappear. There's a million things you could do with this idea. Right through here, I think it's amazing. Actually, I think this is enough. I wish this corner,
Yeah.
I wish this corner had
She
more.
balanced very well, because here it's important that it's a little bit more painted. It's really nice.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the brush strokes mimic the shape of the building. The
Mhm.
brush stroke mimics the pattern of the clouds. There's a lot going on. It's really nice. And I think the paper choice was really nice too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the mat, I mean, this, I didn't ask you guys to window mat your work, because it's really expensive to do this. It's $12 per mat, which isn't that expensive actually. But you can kind of see the difference it makes.
Yeah.
So this is where you're headed. And this is what we do in my other class, fiber printing, window matting, and a lot of tricks of printing as well. Pre-flashing, bleaching,
Photo 30?
37.
37.
Yeah. Yeah, as well as making.
Can you describe the window, man, like the process?